regular meeting to order at 4:31.
Moved.
And okay, I'd like to call for the opening statement to be read.
As we gather together today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we are privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in their best interests. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Prior to adoption of the agenda and the council meeting will be conducted electronically via Zoom due to the prevalence of COVID-19 and the provincial state of emergency. And we'll go to the minutes from March 15th, 2021.
You want me to make a motion to accept them, the agenda? I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion to adopt the agenda? Is that what you're adopting, is the
Yeah,
agenda?
there we go. Yeah,
That's
thanks,
fine.
Rochelle.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, let's continue then with the minutes from the regular meeting. Well done.
Motion to receive?
Second.
Second, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, we've got minutes from the public hearing held on March 15th.
Motion to receive?
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. No delegations. Bylaw District of Chetwynd false alarm number 1135/2021 is included under the reports. So we'll see that in our reports. So if you haven't read it, so if you want to catch up. Community reports and liaison reports.
Yep.
Okay, Mel?
Yeah, I just have a quick one from the Peace River Regional District for the Solid Waste Committee. Starting April 12th until April 29th, there will be open Zoom meetings to discuss the draft regional solid waste management plan consultation. Chetwynd Zoom open house will be April 12th at 11 a.m. The meeting will start with a presentation and then there will be a Q&A if the public has any questions. The meeting times may vary to accommodate work schedules, and more meetings will be presented in the PM as well for people who can't make it during the day. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mel. And Rochelle?
Yeah, so
Donna?
on the March 19th, I had my Northeast Regional Advisory Committee meeting, and it was a really good meeting. There were 5 applications that totaled over $430,000 that were applying for grant money. And of course it's confidential until they're notified. So once they're notified, then that information will be released. But they were applications from Fort Nelson to Tumbler Ridge. So it was really exciting, and there'll be a lot of happy clubs around for a while. So. And we had a really, really long discussion about connectivity with Susan Stanford from the Ministry of Citizen Services. And once we get the minutes from our meeting, I'm going to pass them on to Carol, and she may already get them, just to give you an overview of what that conversation looked like. But yeah, it was interesting. So
Very important subject.
It is, absolutely it is. Well, and everybody Zoomed in except for me, because the meeting, that was on Friday. We had a meeting Thursday or something that everybody was getting knocked off of by a Zoom. Anyway, so I phoned in and I said, yeah, sorry, I'm phoning in today because Zoom is just, it's ridiculous. And the internet here is ridiculous. So, and so I called in, but everybody else had Zoomed. So anyway, it was a good time to to call in because it was, that was our experience with internet in Chetwynd.
Yeah.
And that's my report.
Any other councillors have report liaisons? Go ahead, Councillor Disher.
Just letting you know about the Chainsaw Society. They are, as everybody knows, the event has been canceled. They have contacted all their sponsors, and I think there was only 3 that asked for money back. So everything is on hold until 2022, and their next meeting should probably be around June.
Thank you. Any other liaison? Okay, from the Mayor's office, we have very special occasion today. We have our COVID-19 vaccination clinic going on at the Legion, Royal Canadian Legion. Started at 8:45 today. I was honored to be there to give a small speech and a little prayer. So that was very nice of Northern Health to ask myself. And then I volunteered for 3.5 hours of my time, and so did Councillor Warwick. I seen her there, she volunteered, and Steve from the rec center, he had volunteered. I'd like to thank those 2 for doing that, and I'm thinking we might have a couple more. Melva, I think she was there too. So if there's any others that volunteering, that'd be great. One thing that I'd like to say is that if anybody's listening right now, I've got a number for appointments. So I'm just going to read that out to you today. It's 1-866-481-2175. So that's to get an appointment, and the dates for the clinic are April 6th through the 9th. That's today till Friday, and then on April 20th through the 23rd. And then the 3rd is going to be in May. That'd be May 4th through the 7th. So 8:45 is when the clinics start. So if anyone out there needs any information, they shall call that number, 1-866-481-2175. So that's quite important to the citizens of Chetwynd, and it's quite exciting to us to have that vaccine available to Chetwynd residents. And I believe it's surrounding area. I don't think that they restricted just to the residents of Chetwynd, so which is great. And today's vaccine was Pfizer. So they had called a few people because I believe some of the appointments weren't made. So they didn't want to waste the vaccine. So I believe they might be doing that again in the later today. So it's a great day for Chetwynd, and I'd just like to thank Northern Health because it's very important that they come to small communities where we have such an influx, what we call a shadow population. So that's the workers from the pipelines, workers coming, even from our coal mines. They live other places and come work in our community. And there's other industries out here too that do come to stay for a while to work, which is great for the industries, but they do go home to their towns, villages, districts, wherever they may live. So anyway, I'd like to thank Northern Health for that, and the citizens of Chetwynd, making sure that they get down there and get their vaccine or their vaccination. So anyway, with that, I'd like to thank you for that, and that would be it for the mayor.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So in saying that, are the pipelines allowed to get their vaccines here? Like,
They have their own clinic that they have at their own.
okay,
places,
okay.
so-
Because I wondered how that worked, if the locals or the non-locals that
Yeah.
are here working, if they were eligible to get their vaccine and if they could book it. Oh, well, that's good to know. Thank you for that.
Yep, they had already received some of their vaccinations. They were ahead of us on that because of I believe 2 weeks ago, when the government said that Site C has just about got all their workers done, according to Dave from Site C.
I think Canoe McColl's is all finished with theirs too.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. That's really good to hear. So anyway, we will continue for discussion items. Carol?
Oh, I just wanted to point out that the administrative report is on this agenda.
Oh,
Also-
right.
Yeah, in accordance with
I see that.
council request for kind of an update. So if any councilors have any, or your worship, if you have any questions about what the crews have been doing, please feel free to ask and we'll answer.
Okay, councilors, have you had a chance to go through the report? If we have any questions,
Yes, and I just want to thank you, Desiree, for supplying us with the update on the engineering and parks and stuff like that. It's really helpful when we know what's going on. So thank you for that.
and one of the things that I know for a fact is if I get asked a question, I don't have to say, well, I'll get back to you with that answer. When I get presented with stuff like this, I can answer, which is very valuable to myself. And I believe it's valuable to counselors too. Thank you for that. Thanks you, Carol, for giving us that. Is there any questions on what's inside the report?
I just need to comment again on the kick it
Yes.
to the curb idea, Ellen. I just love this idea. You know I do. And I hope that it just rolls out just so wonderfully, then everything's getting taken care of and people can throw their stuff to the curb and people will pick it up. So they're good stuff, of course.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I love that idea.
It certainly is. And I think if the CAO, Carol, she was mentioning that it might have been done in the past. So it might have been when you guys were sitting, Councilor Galbraith and.
Yep, it was. Yep, it was. We had
Okay,
done it.
perfect.
And yep. We just need to really advertise it and get it out there for people so
Okay.
they know what's going on. So
Yes, yes. That's a terrific idea. Okay, any more on that, Carol? Do you have any closing things on that?
Not really, but just to let you know that we'll update a list for the first meeting of every month as requested. And then if you have any questions in the meantime, just let me know and we'll make sure that we have some answers for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Correspondence, is non-information items, I-1 to I-24. Is there any information items that we need to bring up? I believe there,
Mr. Mayor? You
yes,
just- you skip the discussion items, number
Did I?
7.
oh, I did too, yeah. Thank you, Laura.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, discussion item number 1, Local Government Leadership Academy, LGLA, virtual 2021 Chief Electoral Officers Forum registration information.
I can make that recommendation that council authorize the mayor to attend the virtual 2021 Chief Elected Officials Forum, April 29th to the 30th, 2021.
Second,
We have a second? Yep, Rochelle? Yep. Any discussion? Any alternates?
It looks really interesting.
It does.
It
It's got
does.
some-
A lot of good topics on there.
Are we just allowing just one, Carol?
Yes, I believe this forum actually only allows the mayors. It doesn't
Okay.
allow alternates.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, discussion item number 2, email from Federation of Canadian Municipalities dated March 29th, 2021. FCM's 2021 Annual Conference and Trade Show.
I can make that recommendation. The council authorized the mayor or alternate to attend the 2021 virtual federal Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference, May 31st to June 4th.
Clay, second. Discussion? All those in
I have
favor?
a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it
Councillor
expensive?
Lundskog.
Is it expensive to sign up for this, Carol?
No, it's actually a lot more reasonable than traveling.
I was just wondering if maybe anyone else would be interested in sitting in on it. I know I can't, but I'm just wondering if anybody else would be, if I should change my thing to include any other council member. Or if anybody else is interested in it.
I think that would be a good idea if we just make that change right now before voting on it, and
Oh, can I
because it
just-
is your motion, right?
It
Yeah,
was my,
let's do that. Let's do it.
okay, so I'll amend my motion to read that council authorize the mayor and council members who want to attend the 2020 virtual FCM annual conference, May 31st to June 4th.
I'm still good for that second.
Okay. And now the question, any questions or discussion? I have one for Carol. The price.
I don't actually know yet. Oh, $295 plus GST.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, here we go. We're on to the no correspondence, information items 1 to I-24. And I believe I have one, it's I-5, the Township of the Spalmachine dated March 10th, 21, support of 988 crisis line. And I believe there's another one down here. So there's 2 items. And I think we have one on our agenda, Carol?
About 988, you mean?
Yes.
I think that's the only one.
Is there any other items that want to be lifted? Oh, it's from the village of Bella Cara, dated March 12th, 2021. So I believe they're both same. So I'll just read that one out. And I believe there's they're gonna be asking us to endorse one, or endorse our own for the north. I'll just scroll down to grab it off my,
Still scrolling down to it. I'm glad you didn't go I-20.
yeah,
Oh, I'm there. Okay.
have you got it?
We just got to it.
Yep. Okay, it's to the Honorable Patty Ajeda, House of Commons, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, for support of the 988 crisis line. Please be advised that at the Monday, March 1st, 2021 regular council meeting, the Township of Spalmachine Council passed the following resolution: that the Township of Spalmachine Council pass the following motion and direct a letter indicating such support for the local MP, MPP, Federal Minister of Health, the CRTC, and local area municipalities on outlines in the letter from members of the Parliament, Mel Arnold, North Okanagan, Shuswap, for support for a national suicide prevention hotline. So they're asking just to make sure that we don't lose somebody because we have a 12-digit number. They want to do the 911 as an example. So when somebody is in a crisis, we have a short number that we can dial so that we can get some assistance to that person or to oneself. So these two, there's a couple more, and I believe I had seen one come across my desk that we will be thinking about endorsing to this, to the effect of this letter here. So anyway, this is one of the items that's should be quite important to us and to every other community in the north, especially with our COVID-19 isolation that most go through. Some of us are very lucky that we have family. Some others have social lives that been altered for the rest of their lives because they will be having these thoughts of not being wanted, right? So that's part of the whole society that we need to feel that we're part of something. So anyway, this 988 number was jumped out at me when I first seen it. So that's why I'm pulling this one so that we have something to look at. And I believe it might be presented to us here in the near future. Any comments on this? Okay. Not seeing any. Is there anything else that we need to pull from the information items?
No.
Okay. Reports for action. Opportunity for the public input. Carol?
Should somebody move and second those info
Oh,
items?
information items.
Yeah.
Your worship, I would make that motion that we receive I 1 to 4 and I 6 to, I'm sorry, what was your second one you pulled?
No, there was just the one, but the second one was just the same letter.
Okay, and then I motion to receive I 1 to I 20 and with the exception of I 5 for information.
Second,
Okay. Second, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Carried.
I 24, sorry,
Yeah, we're good.
thanks.
Okay, reports for action, opportunity for the public input. So is this where we read the letter for RA1? Carol?
If you wouldn't mind reading the,
Okay.
just to invite people to state their expressions of interest.
Yes. Non-medical cannabis retail store license, TA Flower Shop Cannabis Company Limited, public comment period. This portion of the regular council meeting is set aside to allow for public comment on the application for TA Flower Shop Cannabis Company for a non-medical cannabis retail store at 9-5021 49th Avenue. This is not a formal public hearing process, but rather an informal process. I will, however, ask each person who wishes to speak to state their name and residential or business address and then provide council with their comment. I will now ask if there are any comments from the public on the application from TA Flower Shop Cannabis Company for a non-medical cannabis retail store at 9-5021 49th Avenue. If you're on mute and you want to state, I will ask one more time. Are there any further comments? Hearing no further comments, I declare this public proceeding concluded. Okay, RA1 Cannabis Retail Store License TA for TA Flower Shop Cannabis Company Limited.
Can make that recommendation. That council support the application from TA Flower Shop Company Limited for a retail cannabis establishment at 9502 149th Avenue.
I would second that.
Councillor Galbraith, second. Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Those opposed? Carried. RA2, development permit number 032-2021 Celtic Construction.
I would make that motion that council authorize issuance of a development permit number 03-2021 to C. Chandler Contracting of Celtic Construction Limited for the purpose of construction of a commercial building to be located at Lot 3, Plan PRD 8869 DL 1991, except Plan Parcel X, Plan 21373, 4628 North Access Road, subject to the submission of the site grading plan in accordance with Schedule H of Subdivision and Development Servicing Bylaw number 981, and subject to the approval of the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure.
I'll second that.
Councillor Deck, seconds. Any discussion?
Yep.
Laura?
I have a question. When I Google that and when I look at this, it shows me that it's where there's an existing building right now. Like 4628 is actually Hub Insurance. Like when you Google it. So I'm not sure where this building's going.
Carol?
I believe that the applicant is present if we'd like to ask him to contribute something there.
Travis, are you available to give us a little bit of information?
Yes, I'm here with Carl Chandler as well, the owner of the company.
Okay.
So the building is actually going beside Hub Insurance and the lot is empty right now. Google Maps shows an older building in the back of the lot, but I don't think that's there anymore. That
Yeah,
would
there
be to
used
the-
to be one there. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Travis.
Okay, thank you.
So the Google Maps got to update their map.
Well, I was a little confused.
Yep. Okay, any more discussion on this matter? Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. RA3, false alarm bylaw number 1135-2021. You guys read the background a little bit on this?
Mhm.
Okay,
I would make that motion that the false alarm bylaw number 1135-2021 be introduced and read a first, second, and third time.
need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Councillor Weisgerber, second. Discussion.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead,
Um,
Councillor.
I have a couple questions. Does this now go to the public? Does it go to the public?
Carol?
We will advertise it widely before it comes back to council for adoption, potential adoption. It doesn't have to have a formal public input opportunity, but we'll make an informal one.
Okay. And my other one was, so when you go down there for the fire, like I realize there's been so many false alarms. When you go down for the second time, are the people being told that the next time you're going to be getting a fine? Like, will that happen? So they're aware?
Carol?
I think that would only be fair for sure, but we've got our fire chief here. If I could ask if he could answer that question.
Dan?
Yeah, that certainly would be our intention, that if we already identify that there's a pattern developing with an occupancy, then we'll let them know that there is a bylaw that's in place and what's associated with them if they don't remedy the situation. So it gives us just a little bit of background on having a little bit more enforcement to have people abide by it.
So then Dan, so would you have a copy of this bylaw or a letter, like a letter from the district explaining the bylaw that you could hand them? Like the second time you go there and just say, this is some information that you're going to need because this bylaw is in effect. And like, is that a good way for people to maybe to just verbally tell them, actually give them a piece of paper saying, here's a letter from us to you?
It's something certainly that we can incorporate in our conversation with them, right? So that they do have a hard copy of the bylaw, that they have a clear outline of what they have to do and their obligations to meet those, right? So if that's the direction the district would like to go, and make sure that there's clarity to that, that's something that we certainly can introduce.
Go ahead, Councillor Bezendowski.
Yeah, Brad, I know you mentioned Councillor Weisgerber after the second time, but I think it'd be more prudent to go after the first time, because we don't really want to fine anybody, right? We just want these false alarms to stop is what we want, right?
Like the biggest thing here that gives us an indication is that if we get called the second time in a short order, then there's a pattern developing, and we're certainly not here to just start handing out tickets. We'll give them the opportunity to remedy the situation, and especially since we don't always have the ability to have someone come in the next day, there is a latitude that the department will use. But it's when they get to the fourth and fifth type of thing that, we've given them clear indication and direction and latitude, that then we have recourse to follow up with it.
Mhm.
Certainly not our intention with the fire department to start handing out tickets. And I know that after the last conversation with the occupancy that were based in this false alarm, they were able to remedy their situation, right? Under the pretense that there's going to be a bylaw developed to support that.
Any more questions for Dan or Carol? I have one for Dan. Do you have any information on other communities, maybe of this size or bigger, that have these false alarm bylaws?
Yeah, in my research, I queried our neighboring communities, Dawson and Fort St. John, and then I looked at similar communities to the south of us, and they all varied as far as their fines were. And I just went with an average, and just comparable to what would be applicable to our community. So,
But they do have a bylaw.
yes, there are other communities our size with false alarm bylaws. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Not seeing any. We will, all those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Okay, RA4, 2021 equipment purchase. We've got a couple options.
I'd make the recommendation that council authorize the purchase of a 2021 WA 200-8 Komatsu wheel loader for $196,699 plus applicable taxes, and sale of the 2001 John Deere TC44H wheel loader for $30,000 plus applicable taxes.
I would second that.
Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead, Councillor Weisgerber.
I'm just curious, under option 2, why would we even think about keeping it?
I mean, I think you could think about other options for selling it, like an auction, but we feel pretty confident in the price that we were offered through the trade-in.
Okay.
Any more discussion on it? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, carried. All right. RA5, spray park precast restroom, NDIT fund application.
I can make that recommendation, that council approves submission of an application to NDIT Community Place grants for the precast outdoor restroom to be located near the spray park.
Second.
Second by Bazandowski. Discussion?
That's very exciting. That's going to be a great asset.
Okay, that's it
I've got
for
a couple-
discussion now.
Yeah, I've got is there any other associated costs with that will come up once if we get the grant for it? Is there any extra associated cost? And I'm just, how many washrooms are in the rec center? Like there's got to be a dozen of them in there. I'm just wondering, I thought that was one of the reasons we're putting it over there, because there's access to washrooms, change rooms, etc. I'm just wondering, it just seems a lot of money for a washroom.
Carol?
Okay.
Oh, yes, so this is just a request to apply for an NDIT grant to offset the cost of the washroom. So all we're really asking is for approval to try for the grant. The washroom is expensive, and at first when we were talking about a spray park, we kind of envisioned using the rec room washrooms. However, the Civic Properties Commission felt that it might be better to have a change room / washroom independent of the rec center and the proposed library that will be there for the public, and also for people who will be using the other amenities in that area. So the Civic Properties Commission actually really encouraged the construction of this washroom. We had intended just to have kind of a housing to cover the utilities at first. So this washroom is something extra that wasn't initially planned with the spray park, but it was deemed to be important later on along the journey.
When you mentioned other amenities, you meant the skate park, and we do have our carvings, I believe might be still in that area.
That's right. So the carvings are an annual event, usually, pre and post COVID. And also there are playgrounds in the area, and there's a track and field that gets quite a bit of use by runners and walkers.
Councillor Galbraith?
So if this is only to get approval to go to NDIT for a grant, if we're not successful in that grant, then we're not going to build the washroom or change room?
That is certainly something that we would ask council's direction on. We've applied for a number of different grants and are waiting to hear for 4 or 5 different grants in association with the same project. So we do have some options for council to discuss with that regard.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And would Area E Director Rose have anything to do with the financial part of that, Carol?
Well, it's actually proposed to be located on PRRD land. So they are contributing the land, I guess you could say in that way. They also, we did apply for some grants for the indoor playground and this splash park in conjunction, and we were successful with an NDIT one. Ellen, if you could just fill in the details for me there. Was that 250,000 we got for the both of the projects, and we applied it just to the one, I think.
That's correct. When we submitted originally, the outdoor spray park and the indoor playground were put in together. And at that particular point, NDIT did not grant the spray park. So I resubmitted just on the indoor playground submission. And that also included a full-time FTE, which is a person that would be looking after cleaning the indoor and looking at the outdoors. So I believe that has been implemented with the recreation center for the indoor playground and also with the pandemic. So those would both be married. So we were successful in the $250,000 grant for that, and that was applied to that portion of that indoor playground.
So we're looking for the letter to go out for 30,000. And if we're not successful, we will have a decision to make. Is that correct, Carol?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any more discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. All right, proposed community greenhouse funding application.
I would make that motion that council approve the application to NDIT for the Community Places Grant for the Chetwynd Community Greenhouse.
I would second that.
Okay, Councillor Disher seconds. Any discussion?
Just again, my question,
Yes.
if we are not successful in our grant application, this project comes back to the table for discussion?
Yes,
Sure.
I believe it's in the 2021 budget. Is that correct, Kevin? So I believe council has already approved it to some extent, but we haven't yet provided you the bylaw to look
Okay.
at that
Okay.
budget.
Any more discussion?
Oh, I just have a question in regards to the community garden.
Yeah,
I get that the ground is still frozen. What is the estimated time that we'll be planning to open that up to the public? If we know that.
Well, we've already been receiving phone calls to register for the plots, and but we usually don't start doing any work at the grounds until after the frost is on the ground. So usually traditionally around May long weekend, we're ready to go. So as soon as we can get into there, we definitely will be prepping the sites. We've got about 4 people registered right now, and last year we had over 12. So we're anticipating quite a lot more use and some varieties in that fashion, but as soon as the frost is out, but usually May long weekend, they want to get into the ground and start doing their work.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
any more questions or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the recommendation? Okay, all those opposed? Carried. Okay, pitch in 2021.
I'll make that motion that council endorse the Kick It to the Curb free garage sale initiative from April 22nd to May 21st, 2021.
Second.
Councillor Galbraith, second. Discussion?
For people that live like out of the community, where can I kick my stuff to the curb?
You bring it into Bazandowski's driveway?
Yeah, I got lots of, I'm on a corner lot there, so I got lots of ditch line.
That's a very good one. I'll ask Dan Rose.
Yeah,
I'll give him that question because he's one of the proponents of not dropping your stuff off at the end of the road. So anyway, I will question him on that.
You know, it's not a bad thing to bring up. I don't know if there's a central spot in town that a person could, but I think the problem is like if we knew everybody would come and pick it up if it didn't go, but it's just gonna wind up being a junkyard, right?
Well, exactly.
It would end up being the second dump.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're,
Yeah. I don't know, I'd take all our stuff to the sheriff's shed, and
I
it's pretty
think
cool.
Yeah.
Carol has an idea. Right, Carol? It's in there?
I have an idea.
Yes, about signing up. If it's not taken away, we will
Yeah.
take it for them.
That's correct. That's for Chetwynd residents for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
if at the end of the 30-day period, the materials are not picked up. Well, we'll advertise this as well, so we don't take anybody's, valuables to the landfill, but at the end of that time period, we will pick them up and take them to the landfill. However, people will have to register for that in advance.
Councillor Galbraith?
I just have a question. Does this coincide with the free dump day if the regional district is doing that this year? Or the free
This
dump?
coincides with Earth Day, April 22nd.
Well, just don't move on those days in case you have all your furniture sitting on the lawn and somebody comes by and
We'll leave it for the next tenant.
Yeah.
Okay, any more comments, discussion? Okay. All those in favor of kicking? Awesome. Okay, carried. Okay, reports or information, closed council resolution brought forward, purchase of property.
Make a recommendation. We receive the report for information.
I'd second that.
Councillor Disher, second. And I don't believe we need anything else, Carol. Do we need to discuss it or it just comes out?
Yeah, if council wants to discuss it, certainly can, but otherwise, yeah, it would just come out.
All right. All those in favor of it coming out? Okay. Building permit values.
motion to receive for information.
Second.
Okay, Councillor Deck, second, discussion. Okay, all those in favor? Okay.
Your worship,
Yes,
if we could just go back to the information items, I think the letter that you pulled, I-5, I don't believe it was carried. If we could just get a motion to move that, to receive that
Okay.
for information.
Motion to receive I-5.
Second.
okay, second by Councillor Galbraith. Thank you, Carol. Okay,
Should we vote on it?
should we? Okay.
Maybe.
You can always come back to it.
Yeah, we could after public questions, right? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. All right. I guess there was no new business because the mayor didn't ask if the agenda needed to be done. Is there anybody that wanted to, this is the opportunity for the public to have any questions at this time? Anyone that wants to ask what we did today? Okay, not hearing any. Adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about that? Okay, carried. Okay, make sure you wash your hands, wear your mask.